ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. You will have to excuse myself. You have to excuse me. I keep on repeating myself, I know that, but I can't help it because I have just one mind. Let me tell you something about Jewish tradition. We have many rules that we have to live by. So one way of looking at them is some are positive, like you have to respect your parents. Others are negative, don't steal. In other words, some things are do, others are abstain from doing. Okay, that is one way of dividing our rules, the norms by which we have to live. There's another way also. There are some laws that make sense, are so to speak logical. For instance, the rule do not steal makes sense because if I want to live in community, I want to be able to live in my home in peace. I don't want to put a lock on everything. If somebody's going to steal everything I have, I want to be able to walk out in the street without somebody shooting at me and killing me. Don't kill if you want to live in society. I realize, of course, that unfortunately there are many people that are being killed this very day, so to speak. You know, how many incidents in schools and what have you. Well, those are not really the norm. And we have to be very vigilant about it. I understand this thing. Maimonides says, for instance, if the Bible would not have said, don't steal, I might have concluded that myself. But on the other hand, there are certain rules that I find no logic in them. For instance, why can't you mix meat and milk according to Jewish tradition? Why can't I have a cheese hamburger, for instance? There is no logical reason for it. The Torah says you should not boil the kid in the milk of its mother. Okay, I understand that. Okay, don't do that. But the laws that I have about how to slaughter an animal and so on, why do I have these laws? I really don't understand it. There is a law about not mixing linen and wool together. You can't make a fabric of these two substances. Well, actually the law is you can't wear a cloth that is made of these things. It's not the making, it's the wearing that is really prohibited. Why is that so? I really don't know. So there are many laws that I don't understand really. I don't find any logic to them. There is the most famous example is the following. You know, when somebody falls into a situation of impurity from a ritual point of view, then he has to be somehow he has to receive a solution that is made out of the ashes of a red heifer. While the person who is preparing that solution of the ashes of the red heifer becomes impure. But with that solution, I become pure. When it is sprinkled, I'm sprinkled by it. How can that make sense? That the person that does it is one thing and the person that does it, they're not logical really. So what should I do? Should I observe only those things that make sense to me, while those that don't make sense to me I shouldn't do? Well, I really think that there are many things in life that don't really make sense to me. When it comes to art, for instance, when it comes to music, it isn't a question of logic at all. It's a question of sensation. It's another thing. I have another rule that I want to share with you, if I haven't said it in the past. I look at things by their result. What are the consequences of behaving in a certain way? I realize that I will not do anything that I consider immoral according to all my set of rules by which I guide myself. In other words, I would never disobey the law or disobey the basic principles that I have. But on the other hand, there's many things that I don't understand. There are many things that I don't understand in the universe, and yet I live in this same universe. I have to look at what are the results. And I see that the results of those homes where they do keep the laws of kashrut, which means they don't mix meat and milk, that keep the Sabbath. Many of its rules maybe are not that logical to begin with. Those are the most solid homes in the Jewish people. Those are the children that are best educated. Those are the people that live according to tremendous standards of morality. In other words, here again, I don't understand everything that surrounds me. I have to be constantly striving to understand the world better. But on the other hand, I can certainly measure the consequences. I can certainly measure the results. What happens when you live according to these rules? Do you get positive results or you don't get positive results? So don't despair. There are many things in this world that you don't understand, but make sure that the results are really in accordance with what your moral principles are.